Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Regatta Horsemanship. I'm Luke Brown. I'm excited to be with you here today on Fun Friday. I hope you've had a wonderful week. I hope you've been able to get a lot of things accomplished. I hope you have some great plans for this weekend. I certainly have some fun plans for this weekend. Got a few horses to train tomorrow and a hot date tonight with my wife, Stacy, and lots more that we're going to be doing this weekend for the family and for the business, and I look forward to that. And today, this morning, I'm riding Sydney. Sydney is a 5-year-old Arabian saddlebred cross. So she's mostly Arabian, but has some saddlebred in her, and that's what gives her this paint color. She's a beautiful black and white paint color. And she came to me. She's had actually a couple of years, at least over a year, probably a year and 3 months of training experience. But she came to me. She was more into the show world training, and she didn't really have a lot of desensitizing training. She didn't have a lot of, well, she needs an attitude adjustment, honestly. And she also, her owner wants to ride her out on the trails, and to have her just make her an all-around good horse for the trails, and also for some other things like maybe even sorting, some cattle work, some other arena work, but more based on work for her. Stuff that can keep her mind busy. I think one of the things that's happened with her is probably she's just gotten really sour to the arena, sour to getting pressure put on her, not really feeling a lot of relief of pressure, maybe a hard regimen that has put her kind of in a sour attitude, a negative attitude, and we've been working on that, and she's getting much better. We're at the end of her, well, tomorrow will be the end of her second week. And she's just doing awesome. She's doing amazing. I'm really proud of how she's coming along, and I think her owner is going to get what she wants. Now, every horse has his or her own personality, and you have to remember that when you have a horse and you want a horse to be a certain way. It's kind of like if you have a child and your child is really energetic and rambunctious, and you think to yourself, I just wish my child would be a calmer child. And while you can certainly calm that child down and help him or her be a little calmer, a little more collected in their behavior, you certainly can't change his or her nature by that energetic nature. And that's sometimes what I run into with owners and horses, is they want to change their nature, and that's not really possible. It certainly is possible to get them under control. I was riding a horse earlier this morning, and she's a horse that has bucked really hard and been a real challenge for her owner. And she's still kind of reactive and will spook and bolt just a little bit, even in the round pen. But I think I'm getting to her and helping her get to the point where she's going to be she's just a super reactive, super sensitive horse. And when she overreacts and she loses her mind, per se, she goes into bucking. But anyway, back to Sydney. Sydney's doing really well. And I've been riding her out on the urban trail so far. I know for a fact that she's afraid of running water. She does not like the sound of running water. And I have a training video about that in Regatta Horsemanship videos for Lady Horse Boss. But I won't go into that. But she is certainly afraid of running water. And that's going to be interesting to teach her to cross water in the next few days. Probably sometime next week I'm going to teach her to cross water. That's going to be a lot of fun. Interesting and fun. And maybe we'll try to get that on film as well. And today for Fun Friday, I wanted to tell you a joke before I say goodbye. And this joke has to do with 3 cowgirls. And these 3 cowgirls, they ended up passing away. They died and they went to heaven. They went to heaven's gate, and they met Peter. And Peter came to them and said, welcome to heaven. Congratulations for, you did the right things to achieve heaven status. And there's only one rule we have here in heaven. If you look all around, there are flowers planted everywhere. We planted flowers, beautiful flowers of every color, of every kind, so that you can enjoy, so all those in heaven can enjoy the flowers. But my one rule is you cannot step on the flowers. If you step on the flowers, there will be eternal consequences. And so the women looked around and they noticed that there were flowers everywhere, and they thought, this is beautiful, but this might be interesting and challenging. And so they went with hesitancy into the gates of heaven. And the next few days, Cowgirl 1, she ended up accidentally stepping on a flower. And unfortunately, she stepped on this flower, and here comes St. Peter. And St. Peter is bringing with him this old, decrepit, homely looking cowboy. His hat's beat up, his boots are outworn him, and he's very homely. And St. Peter says, takes them and he chains them together and says, "This is your eternal consequence for stepping on the flower," to the cowgirl. And so the cowgirl and the old, decrepit, homely cowboy walk off into eternity. And a few days later, cowgirl too, she accidentally steps on a flower. And sure enough, here comes St. Peter, and he's bringing with him another old, decrepit, homely looking cowboy. And he said, "For stepping on the flower and breaking our one rule here in heaven, I'm going to chain you two together." And so he chains them together, and they walk off into eternity. And a few days later, the third cowgirl's walking along, and she sees St. Peter coming up towards her, and she wonders, that's interesting. And St. Peter had with him this young, tall, strapping, handsome cowboy. He's very fit and handsome, and she could tell he was just everything she'd ever dreamed in a cowboy. And so St. Peter comes up to him, he chains them together, and he sends them on the way. And as they're going away, the cowgirl looks at the cowboy and says, "Gosh, I don't know what I did to deserve you." And he said, "I don't know what you did, but I stepped on a flower." I hope you guys have an awesome weekend. Make sure to be thankful, live with purpose, live with passion, and as always, stay safe in the saddle.